RaceMaxx is a unique material that we've had made that does a couple of very interesting things. Number one, RaceMaxx is the entire board. It is an MDF core material with an epoxy finish that is applied to the MDF core at the time that the MDF is being made. The result is the epoxy becomes the MDF, and that's why we're able to machine it with perfection. Now, RaceMaxx is just a fantastic finish. It's almost as smooth as glass. There is no orange peel on this surface. There are no bumps. It's free of imperfection, and the color is just beautiful on every single part. Now, one thing that's very, very unique to RaceMaxx, and if you've ever owned or raced on a wood slot car track, it's cleaning. Because people use different types of tires and sometimes different materials on their tires to make it stick on the track, that makes a wood slot car track very difficult to keep clean. Now, RaceMaxx is a little bit different than everything else because this is not a latex paint, nor is it an epoxy that has been added to the wood after the wood was made. RaceMaxx is part of the wood, so we gain some tremendous benefits with that. Using a cotton cloth, or I like to use a microfiber cloth, you can use water and a simple detergent. You can even use something like Windex. You shouldn't, by the way, you shouldn't ever really spray directly on your track because even once the braid is added to the RaceMaxx sections, there is still some exposed MDF in the center there. And MDF does not like liquids whatsoever. So spray your cotton cloth or microfiber cloth and then just wipe along with the direction of the braid, and you can see it's easy to clean and it comes out just absolutely flawless when you're finished and makes the track very, very easy to maintain and clean and makes it last a long, long time.
I love the way my heart is racing.
One of the inherent problems with plastic tracks is what's called lane gutter. Gutter is the spacing from the center of the slot to the edge of the track. Of course, it's on both sides. Now, if you're on a straightaway, that's no problem. Your car has plenty of room there and typically doesn't wiggle. But let's change the equation and let's look at a turn. If your car is on a 90-degree turn or a 45 and it starts to slide in the turn, on a plastic track, you have to have a guardrail. Otherwise, your car is simply going to come off the track and that ends the race. What's great about RaceMaxx track sections is that we have a total of 3.75 inches, 3 3/4 inches from the center of the slot to the edge of the track. Now on a 132 scale car, that's more than enough to allow your car to slide. Now this is more like real driving, real racing. Whereas on a plastic track, not to mention the clickety-clackety noise those tracks make, you just don't have that option. Which is why on a plastic track, they typically sell with the track a little side rail. And that's because they have to have it to prevent this car from going off the edge of the track. Well, that becomes unfair racing, and I'll tell you why. The outer lane car always has the advantage. It's got a side rail keeping it in the pocket. Whereas this guy on the inside lane, he's allowed to swerve like a normal car in normal racing. Well, on a RaceMaxx track section, it's equal. Both the inside and the outside car have room to slide and make it much, much more fun and more even for both drivers. If you've purchased a RaceMaxx do-it-yourself track kit, or if you're thinking about it, I strongly recommend you watch our other 10-minute video on installing a RaceMaxx track. Now, once you've created a flat surface, the only power tool you'll need is a drill with a 1/4 inch drill bit. The rest is simple, everyday hand tools, and just about anybody with a little bit of common sense can build their raceway and be racing in less than 2 hours.